March. Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan was the force behind this day. He visited with Cook County inmates this morning, encouraging them to leave their lives of crime and use their time in jail to grow spiritually in an effort not to return to prison. He also spoke to students at Martin Luther King High School about the importance of getting an education and becoming leaders of tomorrow.
You have to be strong. You have to be courageous. You have to have good character, and you have to be wise so that if God should make you a ruler in the land where you were once a slave, you will be better than those who have ruled us.
Farrakhan asked African Americans not to attend work today. Several major employers we spoke with today, including the City of Chicago and Chicago Public Schools, reported few absences because of the Day of Atonement.
The question of whether to observe this Day of Atonement was, of course, a very personal one. Some found it an appropriate time to reflect on the problems plaguing African Americans and to look within themselves to solve them. News 2 Chicago's Varen Black shows us the significance of this day through the eyes of one Chicago family that stayed home to observe.
Some of our African brothers that came from different African nations. It's me and my sons in front of the White House.
Maurice and Christine Perkins show off pictures of the Million Man March 2 years ago today in Washington, D.C. They take pride in talking to a group of young people that the husband and wife have taken into their home. They all live as one family. The Perkins took the day off from their jobs, and they say this Day of Atonement is a day to pray for healing in the African American community.
We don't want to just be in inner city ghettos. We want nice communities for our kids as well. We want to do better for our people, and we want to be better people.
The Perkins grew up in Bronzeville, a poor community on Chicago's South Side. They saw the need to help make a difference, and that's why they began a mentoring program in 1974 called the Inner City Youth Foundation.
It's the need to open your arms and let people in and share whatever little knowledge that you have. I mean, it's just a necessity.
The Perkins felt it was a necessity for them to observe this Day of Atonement, and they won't criticize those African Americans who went to work today.
Some of us are forced through feeding our children and taking care of our business that we had to go out and try to earn a dollar.
The Perkins will go back to doing that tomorrow, but today they will stay home and reflect on the problems and solutions within their own neighborhood. Varen Black, News 2, Chicago.
Mrs. Perkins plans to be among the participants in the Million Woman March, October 25th in Philadelphia.
Still ahead this afternoon, how knowing the symptoms of a stroke could save your life, and a frantic rescue attempt. A woman clings to the inside of her car as she is swept away by raging floodwaters. And remembering the day that America held its collective breath, it was 10 years ago. Today we look back at the rescue of little Jessica McClure. Plus,
he's the greatest, and now pieces of Muhammad Ali's past are being auctioned off, but the champ's not happy about it. Right now, let's take a live picture outside from our downtown cam at the lakefront, where we see a Friday warm-up. Steve's got your forecast coming up.
You're watching News 2 Chicago with Lester Holt, Linda McLennan, Steve Baskerville, and Tim Weigel. This is News 2 Chicago. This portion of News 2 Chicago is brought to you by Honda.
The roomier, more spacious 98 Accord is so comfortable and so well appointed, it could introduce a whole new way of doing things. Some things, however, will never change.
Jacob, president of Worldwide Financial, with great news for homeowners in financial trouble. Worldwide will give you a second chance with a second chance loan, our newest way to help homeowners with bad credit. These loans are special because of easier credit restrictions and no in-person interview, so you can get cash fast right over the phone. But this offer ends Monday night, so call Worldwide at 1-800-807-YES. Worldwide Financial. Cash fast when you need it most.
And here's your plate, madame. Why, thank you very much.
At Old Country Buffet, you don't need a waiter.
So, little lady, would you like to start off with a salad or perhaps some homemade soup? Soup!
You don't need a menu.
For your main dish, lemon pepper chicken or carved turkey? Oh, you are a delicate flower. Have some mashed potatoes. Who wants gravy? Mom does.
All you need is a plate.
You must have the hot fudge sundae cake.
Old Country Buffet. What's on your plate?
Want a great price on a 98 Cadillac? Get it from me. I'm Erwin Weil, and I'll make it worth your while at Weil Cadillac in Libertyville. I've got all the new 98 Cadillacs in stock, and I'm making deals. I even have 97s at a fraction of new car prices, like a 97 Sedan DeVille program car with a Northstar engine for just $22,800. That's $22,800 for a 97 Cadillac. Get your next Cadillac from me, and I'll make it worth your while at Weil Cadillac in Libertyville.
Beautiful place in the country.
Japanese products could soon cost more or be very hard to find. That's apparently the bottom line of a new trade war that's developed between the U.S. and Japan. Today, the U.S. Maritime Commission ordered all Japanese cargo ships banned from American ports. The commission acted after Japan refused to pay a $4 million fine. That fine was imposed when the two sides couldn't reach an agreement on American demands for freer access to Japanese harbors. The ban goes into effect tomorrow unless some last-minute negotiations manage to resolve the dispute. An investigator with the DA's office in Boulder, Colorado, wants to talk to a convicted child abuser who lived near JonBenet Ramsey and who disappeared shortly after her death last Christmas. Lou Smith has asked authorities in California to help track down the ex-con, who was arrested 32 years ago in Oceanside, California. He apparently lived 6 blocks from the Ramsey home at the time of JonBenet's death. Police insist that the man is not a suspect, and while they say it's possible an intruder could have killed the little girl, her parents remain the focus of the police investigation.
The sole survivor of the crash that killed Princess Diana has filed a lawsuit that could affect the investigation. Bodyguard Trevor Reese-Jones reportedly has filed a civil suit that will allow him to seek damages from whoever is found responsible for the crash. The move also means that Reese-Jones can no longer be questioned by crash investigators unless his lawyer is present.
An amazing story today about a woman's brush with disaster. It is played out during the recent flooding in Turkey. This woman who's trapped in her car in a raging river screams for help. Rescuers try to pull her ashore, but the current is just too strong, and her car is swept downriver, where it then slams into a tree. The good news is she is able to pull open the car door and swim to safety. She is now recovering in the hospital, and she tells her family that it is nothing short of a miracle that she is alive.
Today is the 10th anniversary of a rescue that had the nation holding its breath. It was a day that they saved Jessica McClure.
Here she comes. There's clapping.
Baby Jessica had fallen down a narrow well near her home in Midland, Texas. She survived 58 hours before rescuers were able to drill down to her and bring her up to safety.
We accomplished the mission, I guess you might say. It's something that you'll never forget.
Today, Jessica is a healthy 6th grader who plays the piano and loves to skate. The rescuers left her their own reminder etched into the cap of the well where she spent all those frightening hours.
Hope it's on nice and tight. Just ahead, a dangerous combination for people who take too much of a popular pain reliever. Also,
the family was told that I wouldn't make it.
If you thought you were too young to suffer a stroke, you'll want to hear this woman's story. Dr. Michael Breen's on call with some important advice that could save your life.
And it's something Mayor Daley doesn't do often. He's criticizing an alderman in his inner circle for a questionable $1 million deal. That story ahead on News 2 Chicago at 5.
He's the brain surgeon with a pioneering procedure that could save people's lives. But some say his bizarre experiments are straight out of a horror film.
Dr. Frankenstein. I find him an outstanding person.
Hard Copy investigates the man many are calling the real Dr. Frankenstein. Plus, David Duchovny. From television to movies to Man of the Year. See how this Hollywood heartthrob is swimming to success. Exposed. David's exercise files on Hard Copy.
Tomorrow at 4 on CBS 2 Chicago.
In 1993, you could drive a new Mercury Grand Marquis for under $20,000. Since then, we've made it more distinctive, more luxurious, more durable, even safer. But there's one thing we left well enough alone: the price. For a limited time, drive the legendary V8-powered Mercury Grand Marquis for a value-packed price under $20,000. So visit your Mercury dealer today.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now. The U.S. is preparing to sign a United Nations treaty on the global climate, but their global agreement isn't global. 132 of 166 countries are exempt. So while the United States is forced to make drastic cuts in energy use, countries like India, China, and Mexico are not. Countries responsible for almost half the world's emissions won't have to cut back. Check it out for yourself. It's not global, and it won't work.
It's really hard to find good family television these days. That's why we're so proud of Touched by an Angel. And that's why CBS is proud to bring you the Friday Night Block Party, a night of shows that you can share with your children. Family Matters, Mego, The Gregory Hines Show, and Step by Step. 4 comedies with heart, values, and a lot of fun.
Don't miss a brand new CBS Friday Night Block Party.
So join us this Friday on CBS and bring the family.
Weatherize your home with big savings at Menards. Save on your energy bills year-round with Crestline windows. Insulated single-hung windows start at just $69.99 and are on sale at 8 sizes. Keep things organized indoors or out with Rubbermaid storage sheds. They're easy to assemble and available in horizontal or vertical styles. Now just $95. Menards is your savings place for storage items.
Save big money at Menards.
It's the so-called diet helper, but some young people are using it as a drug to get high. It's called herbal ecstasy, and 7 states, including Illinois, have now filed a lawsuit to stop its sale. The product is billed as a safe alternative to the illegal drug ecstasy, but the lawsuits claim that the Food and Drug Administration has not approved herbal ecstasy.
A warning on the use of the popular painkiller acetaminophen. The drug is most commonly found in Tylenol. And a new study shows an increase in the number of people overdosing on the drug. Taking too much acetaminophen can severely damage your liver. And doctors are reiterating this afternoon, do not take any more than the recommended dosage that's printed on the side of the bottle.
Dispelling the myth about young people and strokes. In fact, a woman 45 years old or younger is more likely to have a stroke than a heart attack. And knowing the symptoms could save your life. News 2's medical editor, Dr. Michael Breen, is on call with more.
On November 26th of last year, Leslie Wells woke up and discovered she'd had a stroke. She was 44.
The family was told that I wouldn't make it, that I wouldn't survive, and if I did, I would be brain dead, that I would be a vegetable.
A blood vessel in Wells' brain had popped. Many young people get strokes because they have a bulging blood vessel like this, called an aneurysm, deep in their brains. They don't know they have it till it ruptures. Other risk factors for an early stroke: you smoke, have a history of migraine headaches, or you take birth control pills. No matter what your age, you should know the early signs of a stroke.
Slurred speech, dizziness, difficulty walking, staggering, those are all the same type of symptoms that an older person with a stroke would get.
The good news is, if you know those symptoms, you can often reverse your stroke before it injures your brain. Now, the key is this medication. It travels to the block and dissolves it. The catch is you have to receive it within 3 hours of your stroke. Can it make a life or death difference?
Yes, it can.
No matter what your age.
I never thought something like this would happen.
This certainly wasn't the case for Leslie, but there's one other risk factor for an early stroke. It's drug use, either cocaine, amphetamines, even over-the-counter diet pills. Dr. Michael Breen, News 2, Chicago.
And Dr. Breen has asked us to re-emphasize that in Leslie Wells' case, those risk factors did not play a role. She was born with a thin blood vessel that happened to rupture.
Well, the city most favored by honeymooners doesn't have an Eiffel Tower or romantic walks by the Seine. Believe it or not, it's home to Cinderella's Castle and known for its sales of hats with mouse ears. That's right, Orlando is the hot spot with honeymooners, according to a new poll for Brides magazine. Other favorite cities: Las Vegas, Paris, Charleston, and San Francisco. But why is Orlando the favorite? The weather is warm, and it's easy to get there.
Just ahead, Steve has our Friday forecast and selling off the memories of a true champion's life. Muhammad Ali's belongings go up for sale, but the champ is not happy about it.
And Chicago's comeback cop spends one final day at the district station before moving on to a new chapter in his life. First, a look at this evening's primetime lineup on CBS 2 Chicago.
Real-time closed captioning on News 2 Chicago is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana's favorite oil change, now in most Sears Auto Centers. News 2 WeatherNet is online with 32 Chicago area schools. This exclusive educational weather reporting system is sponsored by Best Buy.
Here's my idea. I think Best Buy ought to get me in a Rolling Stones concert.
Rolling Stones!
We're here. I need to know where my seat is.
Front row, man.
Front row seat to the Stones. Now that's a great idea. Get the Rolling Stones Bridges to Babylon at Best Buy.
Baywatch is on tonight. Can you think of a better reason to get glasses? Four Eyes, a store for people who can't see, paying a lot for glasses.
When you say Chicago, it really means something.
It stands for pride, honesty, and hard work.
That's why Chicago is in our name.
News 2 Chicago, not just a newscast. A team of people who believe in showing you the best Chicago has to offer.
Solid reporting, serious investigation.
Stories about people who bring out the best in our hometown.
We're proud to be News 2 Chicago.
Because Chicago really stands for something.
Lester, Linda, Steve, Tim, and now Carol. News 2 Chicago.
Fill your shopping cart with all kinds of values every time you shop at Jewel Osco. Don't forget your preferred card. You'll need it for values like hearty round steak, just $1.49 a pound. Bring home bunches of Chiquita bananas, only 29 cents a pound. Try Dean's Whole Vim 2% or skim milk and save $1 a gallon. And check out selected Stouffer Red Box favorites. Stock up now because they're 33% off. Find value after value at Jewel Osco.
Can lightweight aluminum cylinder heads enhance engine performance? Is it possible to see the future in a rear-view mirror? If race cars inspired us to use a double wishbone suspension, can you handle that? These are the questions. This is the answer. Dodge Stratus. Starting under 14.4, 18.4 impressively equipped.
Muhammad Ali is arguably the best heavyweight boxer ever, and now a lifetime of Ali's memorabilia is up for sale at Christie's auction house. But as CBS reporter Jennifer Sabi tells us, the greatest doesn't think the sale is so great.
How much would you pay for the white satin Everlast trunks Muhammad Ali wore for the Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman? A short, choosing right to the jaw. Liston goes down. How about the robe Ali wore when he shook the world and beat Sonny Liston? A robe emblazoned with the words, "The Lip," on the back.
Close your mouth for just, let me see if you can keep it closed for 10 seconds.
Well, that's impossible. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. Muhammad Ali, the world's most well-known athlete, and the only one Christie's auction house says could carry an entire sale himself.
Well, this is really the most comprehensive collection of Muhammad Ali memorabilia ever assembled.
Memorabilia that spans Ali's entire career, from his triumphs as an athlete to his tribulations as citizen of the world.
Draft is another thing that's against my religious beliefs.
With respect to that part of Ali's life, in the sale is the letter sent to General Hershey of the Selective Service, where Ali requested to be exempted from the draft as a minister of Islam.
The collection belongs to Ronnie Palager, who says gathering Ali items was a passion and full-time hobby.
I built this collection as sort of a tribute to Muhammad Ali.
It's a collection that contains over 3,000 items, from clay Liston boxing cards to the gloves Ali used against